Okay, hey, what's up, guys? What is your 5 top bass players? And this is a video response to Demand Lamius. I will let you know what my top 5 favorite bass players of all time is. And the very first bass player is Jason Newsted of Metallica. When I first heard his solo, what is it, My Friend in Misery? I think it's like that little, everybody knows that little solo when he starts up. And to be honest, before him, I really didn't listen to bass as an instrument other than just playing like the little box notes and staying in the groove. He actually did solos. When I watched the first Metallica Live, VHS I should say, of Metallica Live in 1992, and he came out and started playing like an 8-minute solo, that's when I was like, wow, bass is not just a instrument like a drum that has to be in the background just for the rhythm section. Bass is just, you can actually make melodies and actually make songs out of it. And that was very inspiring to me. And number 2 would have to be Cliff Burton for Pulling Teeth. When I first heard Pulling Teeth, I was like, what the hell is this? And even it says in the book that you get with Kill 'Em All, if it never said bass solo, take bass solo, take one, if it had, so many people would have thought that was guitar. And when I first heard, for the very first time, heard Pulling Teeth, and I heard the intro to For Whom the Bell Tolls, do 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 do, I was like, no, that's fucking guitar, dude. And my friend who played guitar at the time trying to tell me, no, that's bass. That's bass. It's like bass. It sounds so much like guitar. And then once I started learning bass and getting into the music, I looked and I watched a live performance of him, and he's playing, and I'm like, how's that guitar? Not guitar, but because he uses distortion, he's one of the only bass players I know of that used distortion at that time, and he played the shit out of the guitar. He was very innovative for his time. He was very rhythmic. He was he knew how to shred. He knew what he was talking about when he would play guitar and bass. He knew what he was talking about. Number 3, a lot of people might say, why him? It's I think his name is Trey. He's the bass player of POD. He doesn't do a lot of like crazy riffing and a lot of crazy stuff. He's one of those bass players who keeps it in the groove. Does a lot of slapping and popping, and he just overall inspires me to play better because he knows how to do that slapping and popping, and he doesn't do it over the top like some bass players who are just crazy at it. But that would have to be him, number 3. It was the bass player Limp Bizkit. Number 4 would be Sam Rivers, and I started playing in 2003, and before I started playing bass, I really wasn't in listening to music like, oh, that's a cool bass line, that's a cool solo. But once I got into listening to music, I was like, wow, Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit is a good bass player. And a lot of people are say Limp Bizkit sucks, but you gotta listen to me and listen up. The players in Limp Bizkit are very talented. Wes Borland, a tremendous guitar player. The drummer, tremendous drummer, Sam Rivers. If you go and you just analyze his playing and you hear the bass riffs that he does, do 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 doodaloo doodaloo, that's one of the bass riffs. That is talent. That band is very rich with talent. They might not throw a lot of crazy riffs or a lot of very technical stuff into their music, but he's very rhythmic. He's very in the pocket. He's just one of those bass players that you see when you see him live. He's just jumping around and you can see the passion in his eyes. And that's why I love bass players like that who have the passion, and you can just see the passion. To be honest, he's one of those very passionate And to be players. Honest, you guys might be saying, well, who's this dude? Well, to be honest, I will put this dude in a top 5 of my bass players. I would have to give it up for Demand Lamius here on YouTube. He's one of the biggest YouTubers who play bass, and to be honest, I've never really ever seen a bass player that plays like him. He plays guitar chords on bass. He plays tapping. He's good at slapping. He's a very rhythmic, I would say, funk player. I can see a lot of Flea into his playing because he does that crazy thumping and popping. He's very good at the funk stuff, which Flea was, like he says, is one of his main idols who got him into bass. And I can see when you watch some live footage of Demand Lamius that he posts of it, like of his older bands, you can see him going off like live, headbanging and jumping around and stuff. And to be honest, that inspires me to get better at bass. When you see somebody who's actually taking the bass and turning it into an instrument that you can write songs with, you can solo on, and it's not just the rhythm section in the back like a lot of these bass players think. Oh, I'll go in the back, like the bass players who play for like Phil Collins, for example. They sit in the back, no one notices them, and they just play the riff, and no one knows who they are. But Demand Lamius is a dude who's always up in front, ripping, wants his bass to be heard, and he's taken an instrument that's just usually a rhythm instrument and making it into like the lead instrument. So he's doing these slapping, he's doing a lot of his own stuff. Like he's taking songs, making his own songs on bass, making the bass a very I guess you could say rhythmic instrument where he can actually write songs, solos, and he adds a lot of tapping and a lot of crazy stuff. But that's why I'm picking Demand Lamius as number 5 as my top 5 bass players. Son. I will see you guys next time. Post in the comments below who's your 5 favorite. It can be anybody. And I don't want people arguing